It's a story the Target 12 investigators broke first on WPRI.com, a settlement from a federal investigation into the IWAY bridge railing.
We were first to report 3 years ago that engineers found the relatively new railing was installed improperly. Now the contractor has agreed to pay the feds $500,000, but the dispute on who to blame continues.
Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau has been tracking the story from the very beginning. He joins us now live with the details.
Contractor Cardi Corporation tells us their agreement to pay the settlement does not mean the contractor was at fault. After an unknown vehicle hit the railing and crumbled some of the concrete, engineers dug in. A RIDOT report obtained by Target 12 in 2014 stated the railing system has been deemed defective. And pictures were said to show rebar and bolts meant to secure the structure were cut and in some cases eliminated, making the rails vulnerable to collisions. The U.S. Attorney's Office and Department of Transportation Office of Inspector General investigated, and Cardi did agree to pay the $500,000 to cover the federal cost of the railing system. But a spokesperson for the Warwick-based contractor says the modifications were approved. Stephen Ritzenberg tells us Cardi was directed by RIDOT to perform those field modifications, and the work was inspected and accepted during the project. The railing system has since been replaced, but the squabble over whether RIDOT or Cardi will pay for it continues. Meanwhile, the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Rhode Island says no federal money went into bringing the railing system up to federal standards. And he says this case is proof the government will use its power to hold contractors accountable. Also, Cardi has not waived its right to collect from RIDOT. Tonight at 6, why the contractor decided to settle this federal case. With the Target 12 investigators, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
The Target 12 investigators are always looking to uncover news. If you want to send a tip or report government waste, you can call our tip line at 228-1763 or email us at target12@wpri.com.
Now, the Target 12 investigators have new details on the settlement over defective railings on the IWAY bridge.
Target 12 first broke news of the federal settlement on WPRI.com this morning, and new at 6. Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau reveals why Cardi Corporation agreed to the settlement, even though the dispute over who's responsible for the defects is not over.
The contractor agreed to a $500,000 settlement with the U.S. Attorney's Office and the U.S. Department of Transportation, but is not accepting blame. The IWAY Bridge made a unique entrance in 2006 as it was floated up the Providence River, with the project acclaimed for its design and installation. But about 7 years after the bridge opened to traffic, an unknown vehicle hit what federal investigators would say was the only thing between traffic and the river. That collision prompted a RIDOT investigation. After concrete was chipped away, engineers determined the bolts and rebar designed to secure the structure to the bridge had been cut, eliminated, and modified. Cardi claims the modifications were approved by RIDOT, but spokesman Jeremy Ritzenberg says in order to avoid litigation with the United States regarding this issue, Cardi agreed to pay the $500,000 payment. The payment will cover federal costs of the railing system, but RIDOT and Cardi are still fighting over who will pay for the recently completed replacement rails. And Cardi reserves the right to go after RIDOT for the cost of that installation. RIDOT has not returned our request for comment about the settlement or the cost of those replacement rails. With the Target 12 investigators, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
The Target 12 investigators are always looking to uncover news.
If you want to send a tip or report government waste, you can call our tip line 228-1763 or email us at target12@wpri.com.